this story keeps getting curiouser and curiouser in a way, but you raise an interesting point in the piece that you wrote. What I took from it is Jeff Bezos could use this incident as an excuse, a motivator, to protect everyone's privacy differently versus just to checkmate his information opponent, right?
Yeah, I don't mind if he does that. I mean, it's the National Enquirer, and there's some issues around how they collected this information. If it turns out to be criminal, he has every right to look into that. But I do think there's a bigger issue here is the privacy of most citizens. They aren't the world's richest man, and they don't have the ability to hire the fanciest investigators and the most lawyers and have such a global platform. And I think one of the issues going forward is this idea of privacy and violations of privacy, the misuse of data, of people's consumer data, including by companies like Amazon. Like, what are the rules of the road, and what should they be going forward? So I thought I'd use the opportunity, this story, which is a little bit salacious, but it isn't, to talk about bigger issues.
It's very salacious. I mean,
okay.
It's one of those stories that, I mean, everybody's talking about it. I mean, it's unbelievable that Jeff Bezos, to a lot of people anyway, that he finds himself in this position. Do you see any further either reputational damage for Amazon, or is this just, hey, Jeff Bezos is just like the rest of us, makes some curious decisions, and people keep ordering, you know, whatever it is they order on Amazon?
Yeah, I think the question is, does it move into other areas? I don't think so. I think there's Jeff Bezos the person and Jeff Bezos of Amazon, and then there's Jeff Bezos of the Washington Post. And so what's interesting is that he did link some of this stuff to the Washington Post and to Donald Trump and to all kinds of things. So he's definitely entering sort of, he's putting it out there, so to speak. And I don't think it has a reputational issue on whether people use Amazon. There's arguments in Long Island City over the headquarters there that continue, and I don't think it has anything to do with it. But it certainly brings more attention to him as a personality. But at the same time, he's the world's richest man, and he runs Amazon, so of course he's going to get attention. So, you know.
Kara, Yale's Jeff Sonnenfeld came on CNBC. He said this is a warning volley over the bow to the Amazon board to make a succession plan. Do you agree?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose. I don't think it's a warning. I don't think he's done anything wrong in this instance. So he's just defending himself. He's got a family. These are, you know, having these photos leaked is problematic. So I don't know about that. But they should have a succession plan in place, obviously. It's very hard with a lot of these companies because most of them are founders of these companies, whether it's Facebook. You know, at Google, they managed to pull that off relatively well. And at other companies, they've got to think about doing it. But most of the internet companies are run by their original founders or their original founding team.
Yeah, but I think Sonnenfeld's point is that Amazon, ex-Bezos, is largely personless, right? I mean, we tend to infuse these companies with personalities, and we don't have a lot to work with, I guess, other than maybe Andy Jassy at AWS and maybe some studio executives. So should they make more of an effort to say, hey, this is the team, this is the starter team?
I don't know. I think actually the Amazon team has been together for a long time. It's not just Jeff Bezos at this company. Andy Jassy's been there, all kinds of executives. I can't remember everybody's name, but of course, because they're not as well known as Jeff. But, you know, the team is largely the same team that's been in place for a very long time. So it's sort of akin to Apple in an odd way. Because that team had been together a very long time. And Facebook, same team. And so I'm not so sure. I mean, they should think about it. Obviously, that's a job of a board, but I don't know if this particular incident brings that to mind. He's young, he's vibrant, he's full of vision. I don't think that necessarily is an issue here.
How about the other argument that this episode, Kara, really illustrates how much Bezos cares about the studios itself and production in ways maybe that we didn't realize before?
In production, how so? Meaning that he cares about?
You know, the Journal story today reaching out to the Tolkien estate to make sure that the Lord of the Rings franchise would be secured and taken care of, things like that. That he likes being in the movie business.
He likes the movie business. I mean, well, who wouldn't? I mean, you know, there's selling toilet paper and there's hanging out with celebrities. So I don't know. I think it's fine. It's fine. I mean, all these people tend to go to that once they get their first billion, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do, Carl. What would you do? So I'd buy St. Bart's, okay, whatever. But I think, you know, they get interested in other things. Like he's interested in space. Elon's interested in space. Larry Page is doing hover cars. You know, they end up doing not what they started doing. And so it's not unusual. And I think Amazon has a big business in entertainment. They're obviously making some big bets there.
Kara, I wonder, are there other either founders or prominent CEOs that you've heard from or heard about who are taking any lessons from what Jeff Bezos is going through right now? Do you think it's changing anybody's practices around their privacy, protections they set up, or what they expect from tabloids or fringe media?
I think they have already. Especially one of the things they do take a lot of time on is security, the actual physical security. I think pretty much all the people I cover have very elaborate security systems around them. I think they have to think about digital security too, and if they're not, I just don't know what they're doing. They shouldn't be wandering around in a similar way, because these things are so vulnerable, and vulnerable for everybody, but for them in particular, because they don't just have their personal information, they have corporate information, all kinds of things. And so I would imagine most of them are pretty robust in the cybersecurity area.